While most farmers are out here grinding 60-hour weeks, watching their margins get swallowed by fuel costs, equipment loans, and commodity prices they have zero control over, a quiet group of people are farming plants most Americans have never heard of and quietly generating income that doesn't make sense on paper. We're talking $50, $80, even $100 per pound for crops that don't require hundreds of acres, don't need industrial equipment, and don't compete with the commodity system at all. This isn't hypothetical. This is happening right now on small plots of land, in greenhouses, in backyards, and on rural properties you'd never look twice at. The wealthy have always understood something about land that the rest of us weren't taught. It's not about volume. It's not about scale. It's about knowing which plants the market is desperate for and positioning yourself as the supply before everyone else figures it out. That information gap is the whole game. And for a long time, it's been kept very quiet. Today, that changes. I'm going to walk you through 8 plants that millionaires are quietly farming right now. Some of these are medicinal, some are culinary. One of them, plant number 3, is something wealthy landowners in Appalachia have been sitting on for decades, while the rest of the farming world had no idea the market even existed. And plant number 8, the one I'm saving for last, sells for prices so extraordinary that the first time most people hear it, they assume it's a mistake. It's not. Before we get into it, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me, are you farming for income, for food security, or both? I read every single comment and I genuinely want to know what you're building. Because here's the truth. The rich don't grow what everyone else grows. They grow what nobody else knows about. And almost nobody is talking about this. Here's the thing. Nobody tells you when you get into farming. The system was not built for you to win. Agricultural education pushes commodity crops. Government subsidies flow toward corn, soy, and wheat. Equipment manufacturers design for scale. Every piece of infrastructure around conventional farming is optimized for the big players, and small growers get squeezed into the same low-margin game with a fraction of the resources. If you've ever felt like the deck was stacked against small farmers, you're not wrong. It genuinely is. But here's what that system accidentally created. Invisible markets. Buyers with serious money who desperately need domestic suppliers and have no reliable way to find them. High-end restaurants sourcing rare culinary herbs. Supplement manufacturers hunting for domestically grown medicinal roots. Clean beauty companies paying premium prices for botanicals they can actually trace to a source. These buyers exist right now, checkbooks open, and most small growers have no idea they're out there because nobody in conventional agriculture ever bothered to make that introduction. This is the information gap the wealthy exploit. It's not complicated. It's not illegal. It's simply knowing which plants those premium buyers need, growing them with quality, and stepping into a supply chain that has almost no domestic competition. That's the whole formula. And the people who figured it out aren't talking loudly about it because scarcity is their advantage. Limited supply is what keeps the prices extraordinary. Several of the plants on this list serve not one, but 2 or 3 industries simultaneously. That's not a coincidence. That's what makes them resilient, recession-resistant income crops rather than single market gambles. When a medicinal herb is also a culinary ingredient and also a cosmetic raw material, you have options. You have leverage. That's how informed growers think. Drop a comment if you've ever been told to just grow what everyone else grows, because that advice has cost small farmers a fortune. Now, plant number 3 on this list is the one that's going to genuinely shock you. But we're starting with number 1, and the wellness industry is spending millions trying to source it domestically right now. Plant number 1 is saffron, and the price is going to stop you cold. Saffron sells for $500 to $5,000 per pound, depending on grade and origin. That is not a typo, per pound. It is the most expensive spice on earth by weight, and it has held that title for centuries. Here is what most people miss, though. You do not need acres and acres to make serious money with saffron. The math works on small plots because the margins are so extraordinary that a quarter acre, managed with care, can generate income that would shock a conventional farmer. Domestic saffron commands premium prices because imported saffron has real quality problems. Long supply chains, inconsistent grading, and storage issues during shipping all hurt the final product. Restaurants and spice companies know this. They are actively looking for reliable American growers right now and finding almost none. That is your open door. Think of saffron as the spice that rewards patience and precision over acreage and equipment. Plant number 2 is real wasabi. And here is something that will change how you look at every sushi restaurant you have ever been to. Over 95% of the wasabi served in the United States is not wasabi at all. It is dyed horseradish paste. The real thing, true Wasabia japonica, sells for $75 to $100 per pound, and authentic Japanese restaurants, high-end grocery stores, and specialty food brands will pay that price without blinking. The reason real wasabi is so rare is simple. It is genuinely difficult to grow. It needs cold, clean, moving water, and very specific conditions. That difficulty is not a reason to walk away. That difficulty is the reason the price stays so high. Most growers never try. The ones who do step into a market with almost zero domestic competition and buyers who are actively searching for supply. Think of real wasabi as the plant that turns difficulty into dollars, because every grower who gives up is one less competitor standing between you and that premium price. Plant number 3 is coming, and I promised you it would change everything. I told you plant number 3 would change things. Here it is, American ginseng. Sit with this number for a second. Dried American ginseng root sells for $300 to $600 per pound. And the demand driving that price is not domestic. It is coming from Asian export markets, particularly China, where American ginseng is considered a premium medicinal root with cultural significance that goes back centuries. Wild American ginseng is now legally protected and increasingly scarce. Cultivated ginseng fills that gap. And here is the part that should make you genuinely angry. Wealthy landowners in Appalachia have been quietly growing this for decades, quietly selling, quietly building generational income from forested hillsides, while the rest of the farming world planted corn and worried about weather. This was not luck. This was information. They knew the market existed. You were never supposed to find out. Now you have. Plant number 4 is elderflower. And this one opens a door that goes beyond per pound pricing. Fresh elderflowers sell for $10 to $20 per pound, which is solid on its own, but the real opportunity is in processing. Elderflower syrups, cordials, and tinctures command extraordinary retail prices in the craft beverage and premium wellness space. The plant itself is a hardy perennial that grows in poor soils and tough conditions where other crops simply fail. You are not just buying a crop with elderflower. You are buying a platform for value-added income that multiplies your margins with every step of processing you choose to take. Plant number 5 is papalo. Most people have never heard of it, and that is exactly the point. This ancient Mexican culinary herb grows faster than cilantro, handles heat that would destroy most herbs, and sells for $20 to $40 per pound at specialty and ethnic markets. Outside of small Mexican-American farming communities, the supply is almost non-existent, but demand is climbing steadily as authentic Mexican cuisine expands nationally, and chefs start seeking ingredients that deliver the real flavor, not the grocery store substitute. Plants 6, 7, and 8 are where this gets really interesting, because these are the ones wealthy investors are buying land specifically to grow. Plant number 6 is aronia, also called chokeberry, and the nutraceutical industry is quietly going crazy for it. Aronia berries carry some of the highest antioxidant levels of any fruit on the planet, and dried aronia sells for $15 to $30 per pound. But the real story is not the per pound price. It is the processing opportunity sitting on top of it. Juice, powder, extract. Every step you take beyond the raw berry multiplies your margin. The plant itself is almost unfairly practical, hardy, disease-resistant, and thriving in climates where other fruit crops struggle and fail. Aronia does not ask for perfect conditions. It produces anyway. Think of it as the berry that rewards the growers everyone else overlooked. Plant number 7 is meadowsweet. And this one is going to feel like genuine insider knowledge. Meadowsweet, Filipendula ulmaria, contains natural salicylate compounds, the same compounds that inspired the creation of aspirin. The pharmaceutical and natural remedy industry sources it actively, and dried meadow sweet sells for $20 to $45 per pound. Here is the critical detail. Almost all of it is still wild harvested. That means cultivated supply is rare, which means buyers actively seek growers who can deliver consistent, reliable product at scale. Walking into that gap right now is the definition of entering a market before the competition arrives. And then there is plant number 8, the one I told you about at the very start. Truffles. Black Perigord truffles sell for $300 to $800 per pound. White truffles exceed $2,000 per pound. Wealthy landowners across Oregon, Tennessee, and North Carolina are inoculating oak and hazelnut trees with truffle spores right now. It takes 5 to 7 years for the first harvest, but once a truffle orchard is producing, it generates income for decades. This is not a crop. This is generational wealth with roots in the ground. Now you know all 8, but knowing them is only the beginning. Here is what all 8 of these plants have in common. None of them require hundreds of acres. None of them need industrial equipment. None of them compete in the commodity system where margins get crushed and small growers finish last. What they require is something far more valuable than land or capital. They require the right information. And that is exactly what separates the farmers quietly building wealth from the ones grinding themselves into the ground growing crops the market barely values. This is information arbitrage. The wealthy do not have better soil. They do not work harder. They simply know which plants premium buyers are desperately searching for, and they position themselves as the supply before everyone else figures it out. That is the whole game. It always has been. So here is how you start thinking differently. First, stop measuring opportunity in acres and start measuring it in margin per pound. Second, find your buyer before you plant a single seed. The market exists. The buyers are real. Locate them first and let that guide what you grow. Third, start with one crop. One high margin plant, grown well, sold into the right market, changes everything. You scale from proof, not from theory. While other farmers are breaking their backs, chasing commodity prices they cannot control, you now know what the other side of that equation looks like. You have seen the numbers. You understand the gap. The only question left is what you do with it. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 8 plants you are most seriously considering. I read every single one. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it now, because the next video covers exactly how to find buyers for these crops before you plant a single seed. Real wealth is grown. And now you know how.